Well, good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you. Coming up on 7:43 Central on your Wednesday, May 10th, 2023, with a little severe weather update for you. We really don't have any severe weather out there this evening, but we do have a brand new special weather statement that the National Weather Service just issued, and that's going to be for this storm down in southern Chambers County, extreme northern Lee. It's going to be north of Opelika, just north of Beans Mill, from Valley down to about Beans Mill, across I-85, and then back over to just to the northeast of Oak Bowery, just to the south of Lafayette. The absolute heaviest part of this particular sail is going to be right up here, just south of Chambers Academy. It's going to be just to the east of Highway 431 and just south of Chambers Academy. And we have very heavy rainfall there, probably some small pea-sized hail in that particular storm. And then it stretches all the way back down to I-85 there, just north of Beans Mill, right where Chambers and Lee County kind of join down there in northern Lee County. Again, though, folks, these storms are just not moving very much. So if you're under the red, if you're under the purples or blues, you're getting very heavy rainfall, and some street-level flooding could certainly be taking place in those areas, and it just wouldn't be safe to drive. But you'll notice it's not a very large area. I mean, even here on I-85 where it's raining real heavily, that's only maybe 2 or 3 miles there where you run through some very heavy rainfall. Then if you're traveling north, you get out of it by the time you get up here around Valley. So from the county line up to the state line, we're probably talking about 10 miles there of rainfall. Then you can get completely out of it. So some heavier rain getting close to downtown Lafayette over on the eastern side of town. And then as we come north, another heavy thunderstorm just north of Buffalo. That thing really hasn't moved at all in the last 20 or 30 minutes or so between Pennon and 5 Points north of Buffalo. Maybe it has drifted a little bit to the north since the last time I was on, but not much. There probably is some small hail in that storm also. And then basically from Dickert back over to West Roanoke, along Highway 22, we have some heavy rain taking place there as well, an occasional stroke of lightning. And then the heavy stuff is up here north of Malone up to around Lake Wedowee. All right, to the south of Highway 48, back into Clay County, from Lineville down to Gibsonville, and then back over toward Ashland. Still raining in Ashland, but nothing like it was earlier. And then some heavy rainfall continuing from Bowden Grove back over to Chambers Springs, down into southern Talladega County, and then heavy rainfall now occurring in Talladega, and then back up to the northwest to near Pell City, just south of the I-20 corridor, and then heavy showers up around Bynum, the Anniston Army Depot, over toward Anniston, Oxford, and just some scattered thunderstorms with just a very large area of light to moderate rainfall now from Jacksonville over to Piedmont, back up to Rainbow City and down to Ohatchee. When I zoom out, you can kind of see what's happening here. That blue line is a boundary front, and these storms are focusing just south along and just north of that boundary line from North Alabama all the way back down to just south of Lynette to around Casita, Alabama. And, yeah, they're just not moving that much at all. When I put all of this in motion, you can see there may be a slight northeastern component to the movement, but you got to understand they're building to the north at the same time, so that's why it kind of makes it look like they're moving a little faster than they really are. So that's what's going on. That brand new advisory just issued by the National Weather Service. Again, this is going to be a special weather statement. This is going to be for Chambers County and for extreme northern Lee County. I'll just read that to you. A strong thunderstorm will impact portions of north central Lee and southeastern Chambers County through about 8:15 p.m. Doppler radar is indicating a strong thunderstorm over Chambers County Lake or near Lafayette, moving to the northeast at 10 or less than 10 miles per hour. The hazard will be winds in excess of 40 miles per hour and pea-sized hail in this particular area. Looking in the chat room, Heather says the lightning's pretty bad up there around Cragford in Clay County. And that is going to be the lightning. The lightning itself is down there around Highway 48. So if you're seeing lightning up here in Cragford, all that stuff's down there around 48. And again, you know, this entire complex is slowly drifting to the northeast. The Weather Service is saying 10 miles per hour. It's probably more like 5 miles per hour, if that fast. It's a very, very slow-moving storm system. But, yeah, we've got a lot of lightning right there from Ashland back up to Lineville, out Highway 48 toward Wedowee, right over Lake Wedowee, stretching down to just north of Wadley. We've got a piece of energy coming out of Clay that may have more of an eastern component to it. In Wadley, Corinth, Friendship Community, Broughton Ridge, you may get some of that as it sweeps across southern Randolph County. A lot of lightning continues with this 5-point storm, or the Buffalo storm. Pennon getting a lot of thunder and lightning down there as well. And that storm may be intensifying a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to get a special weather statement out of that one here in just a few minutes for north central Chambers County. Rain beginning to pick up a little bit in Roanoke, though the heavier showers and thunderstorms continue off to your west and southwest and to the south. In no question, the heaviest is down here around Pennon, 5 points, in Buffalo. Roanoke, you may hear a rumble of thunder from time to time, and you may be hearing this stuff down here around 5 points in Pennon as well. All right, there's Corinth, County Road 43. I'm going to zoom out, and you can see that we've got a little back building back down toward Wadley, and then that stuff that's over here in southeastern Clay is kind of clipping off to the east a little bit. So I think you folks up here in the Corinth Friendship Community area there, north of Wadley, you're getting some rain now, and you probably got a little bit more coming from the west. The stuff that's down here in Chambers, though it's not moving very fast, is drifting to the northeast. I don't think that makes it over into the Wadley area, but the stuff in southeastern Clay certainly probably will. And then that storm that's anchored there just northeast of Malone is back building a little bit to the south, back down toward Wadley, right down Highway 33, and then right in there around Highway 43, Kim, where you're at this evening. Daviston, you look pretty good right now. I mean, you've got storms all around you, but nothing south of you or southwest of you, and that's where it would need to be to endanger you. I mean, this Malone storm is back building back down toward Wadley, so we'll see what happens on the southern end of the Clay County stuff. We'll watch it and see if it back builds back down toward Daviston, but right now, Daviston looks fine. Alexander City, you look good. Dadeville's looking good. Good water. All this stuff is up here along this boundary front. That's that blue line that you see that stretches across northern Clay County and through central Randolph and over into Troup. Most of the storms are just south of that, and they're kind of sliding to the northeast at around 5 miles per hour this evening. And then that big one down in Chambers, the one that they just issued the special weather statement for, is pretty much riding right up and along I-85. But again, it's a slow-moving storm, so it's not going to be up here in LaGrange like in the next 5 minutes. If it holds together, it will probably take it 25, 30 minutes to make it all the way up into the LaGrange area. Well, there it is right there. We were just on it for about 10 minutes, but there it is again. There's Lynette Valley. And that's your special weather statement storm. That's the reason we're back on with you. We decided to come back and give you folks down here in southern Chambers County a little love tonight and show you where this heavy thunderstorm is. It is below severe limits. I mean, we're below severe limits. There's no threat of severe weather here. Other than we certainly could have some localized street flooding, some pretty heavy lightning output on this storm, and we're looking at one time we had about 40 strikes out of this storm within a 3-minute period. Now that has calmed down in that last frame right there. We're at 8 strikes in the last 3 minutes. So it tells me the lightning output is not as strong with this storm as it was maybe 10 minutes or so ago. So that's a good sign. We're losing the sun now, and we're losing the heat of the day. So historically, these storms will start to fade away as we lose the heat of the day. And the fact that we've gone from 40 strikes in 3 minutes to 8 strikes in 3 minutes in the last 10 minutes or so is a pretty good indication. This storm may be not quite as strong as it was at one time. It's been storming pretty good down there in Casita for the last 15, 20 minutes or so. Let's see if we can pick up a trend on the Chambers County storm. Yeah, we hit 30 strikes per 3 minutes, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes ago, and now we're down to about 12 strikes in the last 3 minutes on that last frame. The Malone storm actually, it looks like we got a little energy transfer here. The storm was strongest up around Malone. Now it's blowing up around Forester's Chapel, Level Road. So it looks like a little bit of energy has transferred back to the southeast on this one. And we're seeing an intensification there around Wadley and Southern Union and back over toward Concord as well. So this one may be increasing a little bit in intensity. And that's the way these storms work, folks, this time of year. They blow up and they grow big so fast, the structure of the storm can't handle it, so they start to collapse. And then we'll see it blow up somewhere, in the to the east or maybe to the southeast of the original storm, while at the entire time they're drifting slowly to the northeast. This is about as typical as you can get for pop-up afternoon thunderstorm activity. Well, I mean, we've got a little bit of a focusing mechanism here with this boundary front that's draped across East Alabama to West Georgia. So I guess by definition, these are not going to be considered widely scattered pop-up storms because they seem to be riding right along that boundary front. But they're a hybrid version of that. These storms are still caused by the humidity and the heat that we had this afternoon. Mellow Valley. Hey, Kelly. You're welcome, Stephen, down there in Valley, Alabama. You're welcome, Emily. Thank you. Kim says it's getting still in Buffalo. Well, let me ease your concern. Getting still in Buffalo. This is not tornado weather. And that's normally I can remember and I guess this is where my infatuation with weather came from. My grandmother had all kind of, I call them cattails. Maybe they were not. Maybe there was something to it. But she would, one of the things she would always do when it would start thundering and lightning outside, we had to be quiet. We couldn't say a word. I never have understood that, but we had to immediately stop talking because it was thundering outside. I guess maybe if we talked, the lightning would find us. I don't know. But one of the other things was, it's getting still outside. Tornado's fixing to hit us. It's getting still outside. And that's not what we're looking at right here. The reason it's getting still in Buffalo is because the storm's slowly drifting away from you. You got right there in downtown Buffalo now, you shouldn't have anything but just some light rain. The heavier showers have moved on off to the north. There may be about a half a mile north of Buffalo. And you see the absolute heaviest now is just southeast of White Plains and moving on up 431 there. Yeah, I never did understand the lightning thing. Had to be quiet. And, of course, you couldn't take a bath. You couldn't go anywhere near the bathtub while it was lightning. Now, that I understand. I mean, that makes sense. Especially back in the day when we had copper tubing and galvanized pipes. And a lot of the older homes still do. Because lightning can travel inside through those pipes. I've actually had that happen years ago. PVC, not so much, but yeah. Cats and dogs, that's another one. I used to hear a good bit. Raining cats and dogs. You're welcome, Jackson. Miss Vivian, let's see here. Working in Wadley and want to head back toward Daviston. Let me take a look here. I think you're okay. Yeah, I mean, just about the time you get started good, if you're going back down 22, you'll be out of the rain. And it's not raining in Daviston. So if you leave right now, I think you'd be just fine. There's, some heavy stuff right there in southern Clay County, and just to the west of Wadley. That's probably going to move into Wadley. But if you're leaving Dodge right now, headed toward Daviston, I think you can get below it quick enough. You won't run into much rain at all. You'll be fine. Sorry about that. I'm multitasking at the moment. So we go back out to the wide shot there so you can see what's happening all across East Alabama and West Georgia. Heavy thunderstorms lined up now from about Casita back up to Valley, Lynette, and then just north. Or actually now near Lafayette. And there's a little bit of a break there on 431 that it picks up again just north of Buffalo. And then it runs back up to the northwest, up to around Pennon, and then on up into southwestern Randolph now, Wadley, Corinth, heavy rainfall, Malone, thunder and lightning right there in the southwestern sections of Randolph County. Pretty good lightning show going on right now. As a matter of fact, that's one of the areas that's picking up some of the heaviest lightning right now. I'll go back in. I'm going to stop it right there. And you can see right there in southwestern Randolph County, basically from Broughton Ridge down to Dickert, back over or down to around Abanda, and back up to Wadley, and over to the Clay County, Randolph County line, and to the north up to around Highway 48. Inside that entire area I just named out there, we have some very heavy rainfall occurring. 70% chance that we've got some small hail in this storm. And we're most likely looking at marble to mothball size hail in some of these pockets. It's not a very large area of hail, but where you see those blues and maybe where you see the purples, there could be some small hail falling from this storm. Again, the only advisory we have out there right now is that special weather statement for southeastern Chambers and extreme northern Lee County. Five points. What about 5 points? We got the What About Club in the house tonight. So, 5 points, you've got some rain. About it. You've got moderate rainfall there in downtown 5 points. No hail. You may be hearing an occasional rumble of thunder, but that's coming from this Pennon storm back over toward Rock Fence, south of Milltown, east of Shiloh. Right now, it just looks like just some moderate rainfall for 5 points at the moment. What about? There's another What About. Welcome to the What About Club. What about Roanoke? Roanoke at this hour has just got light rain. Yeah, so this ordinarily, if I was in Roanoke, ordinarily I'd really be watching this storm down here around Pennon, but they're not moving. Could a storm form on top of Roanoke? Yeah, it could happen. Chances are it won't, but it could. So, yeah, I mean, you got light rain right now. Will that change? Probably not, because as each minute passes and the heat of the day evaporates, these storms are going to evaporate as well. They'll go away. This is not like a line of thunderstorms that's coming in with a cold front. These are afternoon storms, and they will go away as soon as we lose the heating of the day. County Road 43 got lightning on both sides of the house. Yeah, I mean, you probably got lightning right on top of you, too. The latest lightning was just south of Corinth. But yes, there's one strike to the northeast of Foster's Chapel, which would be to your east. And then that one that was just south of Corinth could have been the one you saw on the other side of the house. So, and you got lightning. There's a stroke right there just to the north of you. So yeah, you do. Let me take it back out full. Again, so you see that storm down in Chambers County, the one that we're back on for with that special weather statement, just hasn't moved. I mean, it's just sitting there. If you're in the south of Hughley or right there along I-85, just to the southeast of Casita. That's where the heaviest part of the storm is, right there along I-85. About 2 or 3 mile stretch of I-85 right there is a complete washout at the moment. And that's very intense rainfall, probably some small hail falling right there as well. Anywhere north and west of 29 along I-85, very heavy rainfall. And that storm's just not moving. It's just sitting there. And that's pretty much what all of them are doing today. Rock Mills, Alabama in the house. Hey, AJ. County Road 20. Foster's. Yeah, not much going on up there right now. Michael says it's feeling pretty doggone good in Casita. Yeah, you're getting some, after a hot day, you're getting some cool rain. Pretty heavy rain and house rattling thunder in Wedowee. Yeah, that thunder is not in Wedowee. It's to the southeast of you. You're actually hearing and seeing, you're hearing thunder and seeing lightning that's way down there to the southwest of you. Probably the closest lightning to Wedowee right now is Cornhouse Creek to the southwest. And then out 48, there's some lightning right there along the Clay County, Randolph County line we're seeing on radar. Hail and Pennon. Thanks, Beth, for that report. Let's go down to the Pennon storm. Where's my buddy Cecilia Newman? She's normally reporting live and in living color from Pennon. There's Pennon. So the hail, if there is any, and the most of the lightning now is up there just south of Rock Fence Farm. And then back over right along 77 from Milltown back to the south, back down toward Pennon. We have probably some hail in that core as well. That's the best looking hail core on the Pennon storm at the moment. Be careful, Miss Vivian. How to do, Calhoun, Georgia? Good to see you. I'm doing just fine, Miss Sherry. Good to see you in here tonight. Is it okay to travel to Anniston? Well, August, where are you traveling from to Anniston? I mean, everything's okay in Anniston. I'm not really sure where you're coming from. So, I mean, you're okay to travel anywhere. We do not have severe weather tonight. Everything's below severe limits. But I'll caution you, if you're going to be driving into any of these areas that have the dark reds and the purples, there certainly could be some street level flooding in some of those locations. So you would need to be extremely careful. I wouldn't travel into those areas unless I absolutely had to. Like Miss Vivian's case, she didn't leave Wadley when she said she was going to. She's running a little bit behind. And now the southern part of that storm is kind of circled back around out there on Highway 22, and she's going to be driving through some of it, but it won't last long. She'll get out of it pretty quick, or she should before she gets to Daviston. But if she just drives real slow and takes her time and is real careful, she'll be okay. But, I mean, there's no severe weather out there anywhere. Big bop of lightning. Big pop of lightning just hit Wadley. Yeah, and I'll show you the stroke that you're talking about. Oh, if I can get it centered up before it fades out. Okay, you stop it right there. That's most likely the stroke that you are talking about right there. And it didn't hit in downtown Wadley. It's a little bit, maybe a half a mile to the southwest of Wadley. That's the latest lightning stroke I show in Wadley. But it was a powerful one. Yeah, we know it's storming in Casita. That's why we're here. That's the only special weather statement we have on the board at the moment is for that Casita storm. Now, I'll tell you, it looks like the intensity on that storm has dropped some, especially in the last 5 minutes. It does not look quite as strong as it did just a few moments ago. There's certainly not as much lightning output on the Casita storm now as it was when we came on about 20 minutes ago. But it's not moving. That's why you got so much rain down there. You guys are getting rain at, probably at about the rate of 1.5 to 2 inches per hour rain rate. We had that happen up in Clay County a couple of hours ago. Ended up going under an aerial flood advisory up there because they had 2 inches of rain already on the ground, and that storm sat up there for another hour or so. As a matter of fact, it's still raining up here in Ashland, Alabama. Ashland may end up with like 3.5 inch rain totals before the day is over with. And a lot of you folks who are under this red may end up with the same thing before these storms completely fade away. Wouldn't surprise me to see anywhere from 2 to 3 inch rain totals anywhere from Ashland down to Mellow Valley to Wadley to Pennon to Lafayette to Casita. That's where the rain has been for the majority of the last couple of hours. At some locations, it's just really started, but that's where the storms are lining up. County Road 43 lost power for 2 to 3 minutes. Good thing it came back, Kim. Howdy, Fort Valley. Good to see you, Miss Deborah. Good evening, Betty. Good to see you. Jessica says that she can confirm that there was hail in Pennon. She just drove through there. And some trees down on Highway 77 around Milltown. Okay. Well, if you drove through, then I'm assuming the road wasn't completely blocked. All right, folks, I just, again, I wanted to jump in here. We typically don't go live unless we have severe weather warnings, and we do not have any of those tonight. But I enjoy hanging out with you guys, and I had nothing else going on. Well, I mean, other than sleep, that would be nice, but nothing else going on, so I thought I would just jump in here. And I've made a few minor changes to our streaming platform, so kind of want to do some testing on that as well. So this has worked out pretty good. But now we have lost that special weather statement for our Chambers County storm. So that is confirming what I said a few moments ago. That storm is not anywhere as intense as it was. It was below severe limits the whole time, but it's not as strong as it was 30 minutes ago. So the Weather Service has allowed that special weather statement to expire. So at the moment, we have no special weather statements, no severe weather warnings, no watches, anything like that. Just a lot of thunder and lightning, very heavy rainfall, maybe some small hail. These storms are not moving, or they're not going anywhere quickly. They may be slowly drifting to the northeast. They're building more than they're moving. to the northeast, so it looks like they're moving northeast when really they're just not moving much at all. So if you've got heavy rain at your house right now, you probably will for a minute or two anyway. Things should start to improve in Ashland in just the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, as the back edge of that stuff is, I think, finally about to lift out of Ashland. But that heavy rain is intensifying across southeast Randolph County, now back down toward Abanda. Some very heavy rainfall down there also. Then we still have that Pennon to Buffalo storm, back up to White Plains. Heavy stuff there around Lafayette now, and we still have heavy rain around Casita, and that is slowly creeping toward Valley, West Point, and Lynette. So we're going to keep watching this for you. If we have any more special weather statements or any warnings were to pop up, I'll come right back, and we will continue our coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. Thanks for joining us.